Zydus Cadila to launch the Zy-COVID-D vaccine in September aims to start making 1 crore doses by October. Clarity on pricing in the next 1 to 2 weeks. Senior BJP leader, two-time UP Chief Minister Kalyan Singh dies at 89 after a prolonged illness at a Lucknow hospital. And the Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and the opposition leader Tejasvi Yadav to meet Prime Minister Modi on Monday with a common demand, a caste-based census. And Delhi COVID curbs are relaxed further. No closing deadline for shops and restaurants, including those in shopping complexes and malls. And India celebrates Onam in the second year of a pandemic. The top story today: around 150 Indian citizens who are wanting to return to India and were picked up by the Taliban and questioned on Saturday morning have been released. They are now safely inside the Kabul airport. NDTV has learned that they are likely to be airlifted out of war-torn Afghanistan soon. Indian citizens waiting outside the Kabul airport for evacuation flights were taken to a nearby police station for questioning and for the checking of their travel documents. A top government source said all this amidst some worrying reports from local Indian media that they had been abducted. The Taliban's picking up of these Indian citizens comes hours after an Air Force transport aircraft managed to evacuate around 85 Indians from Kabul on Saturday morning. That plane landed safely in Tajikistan, and sources added that a second aircraft was on standby in India for evacuations.
Right now I am sitting with a mother who is worried about her daughter and 2-year-old grandson, who are currently right now outside Kabul airport waiting for Indian officials to take them inside the airport and bring them back.
मेरी बेटी और मेरा नवासा 2 साल का, और वो इंडियन है दोनों, लेकिन दामाद मेरे अफगानी हैं।
अच्छा
जी, 3 दिन हो गए इन लोगों ने उन्हें बुलाया था।
किन लोगों ने?
एयरपोर्ट पे कुछ उन्होंने, वहाँ के लोगों ने उनसे,
इंडियन एम्बेसी के लोग?
जी, इंडियन एम्बेसी के लोगों ने या जिसने भी उनसे किया हो, हमको ठीक से नहीं पता। उन लोगों से कहा कि आप आ जाइए यहाँ, और बगैर सामान के बुला लिया उन्होंने। बच्चा छोटा सा था, और फिर उनको एक मैरिज हॉल में रख दिया कि अब आप यहाँ से ना जाएं बाहर। अभी तक बाहर खड़े हैं, अभी भी 2-3 घंटे हो गए, अभी भी बाहर खड़े हैं ये लोग,
बाहर खड़े हैं
जी। और अभी अब देखिए, बार बार ये कह देते हैं कि अब किसी ऑफिसर से बात हो रही है, अब किसी ऑफिसर से, और हम आपको अब फ्लाइट में ले जाएंगे, अब फ्लाइट में ले जाएंगे।
खबर आई सुबह कि कुछ 150 भारतीय जो वहाँ थे बस में, उन्हें तालिबानी ले गए हैं, लेकिन बाद में बोला कि नहीं, वो उन्होंने किडनैप नहीं किया, वो डॉक्यूमेंट्स देख रहे थे और उसके बाद उन्हें छोड़ दिया। जिस वक्त उनको ले जा रहे थे, आपकी बेटी भी वहाँ थी?
जी, हमारी बेटी भी वहाँ थी। तो हमारे उनके घर करीब है, उन्होंने अपने भाई, छोटे भाई को बुलाया हमारे दामाद ने, और वो उनको लेके अपनी गाड़ी से कहीं और चले गए वहाँ से।
अच्छा।
जो एयरपोर्ट के करीब उनका अपना कुछ था जानने वालों का, उनके यहाँ, और वो लेके वहाँ पहुँचे कि अगर एयरपोर्ट से कोई खबर आती है, कुछ होता है तो फौरन पहुँच सके, क्योंकि इन लोगों ने कहा था कि आप वो जगह नहीं छोड़ेंगे जहाँ पर हैं। परेशान है, बहुत डरी हुई है और बहुत ही नर्वस है। वो कह रही है कि अब 3 दिन तो उनको बाहर ही पड़े हुए हो गया घर से। 3 दिन तो घर से बाहर एक तरीके से सड़क पर ही हैं।
उनके साथ कितने और लोग हैं, क्या बता रहे हैं?
लगभग 250-300 लोग इंडियन,
250-300 इंडियंस हैं जो वहाँ मैरिज हॉल में उनके साथ हैं, इंतजार कर रहे हैं।
जी।
And in news coming in, senior BJP leader, two-time UP Chief Minister Kalyan Singh has passed away. He was 89 and he passed after a prolonged illness at a Lucknow hospital.
प्रदेश के पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री, राजस्थान और हिमाचल के पूर्व राज्यपाल, भारतीय जनता पार्टी परिवार के वरिष्ठ सदस्य माननीय कल्याण सिंह जी हमारे बीच में नहीं रहे। विगत 2 माह से माननीय कल्याण सिंह जी अस्वस्थ थे, उनका उपचार चल रहा था। आज रात्रि में 9:15 बजे उन्होंने अंतिम सांस ली है। हम सब दुखी हैं।
And Alok Pandey joins us with more. Alok, Mr. Singh was considered to be among the tallest of the BJP's leaders in UP. He was chief minister when the Babri Masjid was demolished, and of course the condolences are starting to come in, including starting from at the top the Prime Minister.
Well, yes, you're absolutely right. He contributed to the rise of the BJP all through the 90s in Uttar Pradesh and elsewhere in the country. Also by the dent of symbolism in the fact that he was the chief minister, as you pointed out, when the Babri Masjid was brought down on December 6, 1992. Mr. Singh's government had come to power in 1991, and of course he was dismissed after the Babri Masjid demolition. He was also later charged, along with other BJP stalwarts like L.K. Advani, Murli Manohar Joshi, with the conspiracy for the demolition of the masjid. But if you remember, last year a court in Lucknow had acquitted Mr. Singh and others in the case. I just want to draw attention to one more aspect of his legacy. NDTV interviewed him in 2009. I remember that interview because he was very combative there. And he was repeatedly asked about this conspiracy charge, which was a charge at that point of time. And he said that there were, and I'm quoting him, there was no conspiracy. It was an outpouring of sentiment of crores of Hindus. We had made all security arrangements. It is true that the structure came down. I can only say that sometimes security cannot match up to what happens on the ground. He says that I was a strong chief minister despite what happened. I had made it clear that there will be no firing. If I had ordered firing, then thousands of people would have died. They were my express orders not to fire. My officials are not responsible. So he was very combative then. He was very combative till the very end. He kept on insisting that it was not a conspiracy, and that in a way also marked his legacy in Uttar Pradesh politics and in the politics of the country, the fact that he was in charge when the masjid was brought down. Now, of course, there are Supreme Court orders in place, and the Ram Temple is coming up in Ayodhya. And like you said, condolence messages pouring in from everywhere, from BJP stalwarts, the Prime Minister, the Chief Minister who went to visit him in hospital earlier and is again at that same hospital, and also from the Bahujan Samaj Party and the Samajwadi Party.
Alok Pandey reporting from Lucknow. Thank you. And Cadila Healthcare, which has received the emergency use authorization from the Drug Controller General of India for Zycovid-D, the world's first plasmid DNA vaccine for COVID-19, has said that it is planning to launch the vaccine in September. This is a promising development for India's vaccination drive, and of course makes the opening up of schools a possibility in the near future, as Zydus Cadila is the first vaccine in India to be approved for use in children over the age of 12.
For 16-year-old Saksham Jain from central Delhi's Daryaganj, the news about Zydus Cadila getting approval for its vaccine for children over 12 has filled him with hope. A batsman for his school's cricket team in pre-COVID times, he now spends his days attending Zoom classes. How badly do you want to go back to school?
Very badly.
Right.
मतलब एक बार बस वापस स्कूल नॉर्मल लाइफ चालू करनी है, स्कूल जाना.
His mother, Deepika Jain, is more cautious because phase 3 data of the vaccine is not out yet.
हमने भी कोविशील्ड वेट एंड वॉच करके ही लगवाई थी. देर से लगवाई थी इसी वजह से कि पहले हमारे को थोड़ा सा डाटा निकल के पता लग जाए कि उसके रिजल्ट्स क्या आ रहे हैं. एक डेडली देखना चाहती हूँ स्कूल जाते हुए, बट ऐसे नहीं कि स्कूल से जाए और जल्दी से बीमार हो जाए. डेट नॉट आई वांट.
The vaccine called Zycovid-D has many firsts. It is the world's first DNA vaccine and uses genetic material from the COVID virus itself to stimulate an immune response. It is the first COVID vaccine for children above 12 that has been approved in India. It will be administered using a needle-free injection system and remains stable in room temperatures for 3 months. Interim results show primary efficacy of 66.6%.
I believe from October we can scale up to 1 crore. So I believe we'll have anywhere between 3 to 4 crore doses by the end of December.
Still, ICMR's head epidemiologist advised caution about the new platform, saying before the Zydus Cadila vaccine is administered in children, it should be given to young, healthy adults. It is an unfamiliar platform. I have not seen Zydus Cadila's clinical trial data. Some caution is required in its public health use. Dr. Rajiv Seth, a senior pediatrician, gave his advice for parents.
Right now India needs the vaccinations, and it needs to vaccinate its children also. You know, there are 440 million children in our country. The disease of COVID in children has been relatively milder compared to adults. In the phase 1 or the wave 1 of the COVID, we saw very few children. But even then, the ICMR data had shown that there were almost 70% of the cases were in children.
The Zydus Cadila vaccine getting emergency approval has brought some hope that they might even open within the year. But there is still some justified caution given the lack of publicly available data. With Prem Singh, Meher Pandey for NDTV.
Meanwhile, several countries, including the US and Israel, are planning on administering booster shots to fight the coronavirus. The UK government is also preparing to offer millions of vulnerable Britons who have received 2 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine a booster jab from September. So, do Indians also require a booster dose? We asked the director of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences.
I don't think we have enough data right now to say one way or the other that the booster shot is needed across the board. And even when we're talking of elderly or the high risk group, we don't have enough data. We need to really have data which is able to tell us what gives us an idea of the protection an individual have, what we call correlates of protection. What is the protection level that you can see that this vaccine has given, and how does that perform over time to give us an idea that now this vaccine has reached a waning point and therefore a booster dose is required. Currently that data is not there, but what we're seeing globally is that those people who've been vaccinated as of now continue to have protection against severe disease, and we are not seeing a huge surge in the number of people getting admitted in hospitals because of breakthrough infection, even in India, but also across the globe in various parts of the world. UK had this huge surge as far as the wave was concerned a few weeks ago, but they did not see an increase in hospitalization, and this was despite the fact that there was no booster shot given out there. So I don't think, if you look at the data, there is enough data to suggest that we are seeing more admissions right now and therefore we should rush for a booster shot. Having said that, at some point in time, yes, we will need a booster shot. Will we need a booster shot from the vaccine that are currently available? Should we look at a new generation vaccine which covers for the variants for the booster shot? Should it be the same vaccine that we got in the past that should be used for the booster shot, or should we mix the vaccine so that now you take a different vaccine as a booster as compared to what you took in the past? These are data or information that we're still emerging, and that's why I said it will take some more months and possibly the beginning of next year that we'll have data which will tell us what should be the type of booster and who should get it first.
And in a move that will bring relief to shop owners in the national capital, the Delhi government has lifted the 8 p.m. deadline for shops following a slide in COVID cases. The relaxation, which will come into force from Monday, will apply to all shops, including those in shopping complexes, and malls and restaurants in the city can also now stay open beyond 10 p.m.
The Delhi government, after the second wave of COVID-19, has finally made a decision that all the shops which were restricted to stay open till 8 p.m. will now be allowed to open after that as well, and all the bars and restaurants which were earlier only allowed to stay open till 10 p.m. can now be opened after 10 p.m. as well. Amid the second wave of COVID-19 and the first wave of coronavirus, we have seen that several of the businesses have seen a lot of losses, and that is the reason that the Delhi government has finally given this particular relaxation as far as the shops are concerned.
हम तो 9 o'clock तक तो मिनिमम होना ही चाहिए, 9 o'clock तक तो खोलेंगे कम से कम। तो एक इसमें कम है, देखते हो
क्योंकि फर्स्ट वेव या सेकंड वेव की बात करी जाए, जब लॉकडाउन लगाए गए थे दिल्ली में, तो आप लोगों के बिजनेसेस के ऊपर काफ़ी ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट पड़ा था, घर के ऊपर इम्पैक्ट पड़ा था। तो अब जब दुकानें ज़्यादा देर तक खोली जा सकेंगी, तो आपको लगता है कि कैन यू गेट बैक ऑन योर फीट एंड ऑल?
बिल्कुल, थोड़ा फर्क तो पड़ेगा। ये 9 o'clock तक होंगे तो मॉर्निंग 9 to इवनिंग 9 अपना इजीली अगर खोल सकते हैं, फर्क तो पड़ता ही है।
मंडे से वो लिमिट हटा दी गई है, मतलब आप लोग दुकान बाद में खोल सकते हैं। तो डू यू थिंक दैट इट इज गोइंग टू प्रोवाइड सम सॉर्ट ऑफ इकोनॉमिक रिलैक्सेशन फॉर यू पीपल एज वेल, आई मीन शॉपकीपर्स? कुछ आपको लगता है कि आपको राहत मिलेगी इससे, बिजनेस आप ज़्यादा करें?
ठीक है, जैसे गवर्नमेंट बोलती है वैसे हम चलने को तैयार हैं। मतलब कोई प्रॉब्लम ही नहीं है।
8 बजे तक लगता नहीं है कि बिजनेस काफी कम हो गया था आपका, क्योंकि लोग रात को निकलते हैं सामान खरीदते हैं?
नहीं, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है। उसी हिसाब से फिर कस्टमर को आदत पड़ जाता है कि हमें 8 बजे तक मार्केट खोलेगा, उससे पहले फिर आ जाते हैं। हाँ जी, हाँ जी।
बट फिर भी थोड़ा बहुत अगर लगता है टाइम ज्यादा रहेगा तो और ज्यादा लोग
टाइम ज्यादा रहेगा
पे जो लोग लेने आते हैं।
हाँ, तो वो 9 o'clock बस लास्ट होता है।
9 o'clock फिर उसके बाद आपकी खुद की फैमिली भी है।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल।
There are lakhs and lakhs of such shops across the national capital, and the business will increase. There will be some sort of relaxation for these people, and in fact it is a good news, and especially at a time when the number of cases in the national capital of COVID-19 have gone down, the number of beds are weakened, and the situation is much better than it was in either the first wave of COVID-19 or the second wave. From New Delhi, I'm Akshay Dungre, NDTV.
And schools in Tamil Nadu from class 9 onwards can reopen from the 1st of September as the state government announces more relaxations in COVID-19 curbs while extending some restrictions till the 9th. Under the new set of relaxations, theatres have been given the go-ahead to open at 50% capacity from Monday. Theatres have been directed to ensure that their staff is vaccinated. Schools have received the nod to resume in-person classes for classes 9 to 12 from the 1st of September following coronavirus safety rules. Schools can also serve students with food under the noon meal scheme, and a decision on resuming offline classes for classes 1 to 8 will be taken after the 15th of September. And the Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and the opposition leader Tejasvi Yadav will be meeting with Prime Minister Modi on Monday with a common demand for a caste-based census. The Bihar Chief Minister will be leading an all-party delegation from his state to meet the Prime Minister to demand this, and the team will include the opposition leader Tejasvi Yadav of the RJD, a strong critic of the state government.
परसों समय दिया हुआ है आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी का 11 बजे दिन में, तो उनसे ये पूरा का पूरा डेलीगेशन का लिस्ट भी भेज दिया था पहले भी, और पुनः भी भेज दिया गया सभी पार्टियों के। 10 पार्टी के सब लोग जा रहे हैं, यहाँ के जितने लोग हैं। तो हम लोग जा रहे हैं यही रिक्वेस्ट करने के लिए कि जातिगत जनगणना होनी चाहिए, तो उसी पर अपनी बात हम लोग रखेंगे। वो तो फिर केंद्र सरकार के ऊपर है क्या निर्णय लेगी। सब जगह लोगों की इच्छा है कि एक बार तो जरूर होना चाहिए, तो उससे ताकि पता चल जाए कि लोगों की कितनी आबादी है और सभी प्रकार के लोगों के विकास के लिए क्या करना है।
And now the Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin is setting fitness goals with a new video that shows him working out at a gym. It's a video that's been shared pretty widely on social media. It's the Chief Minister's attempt at promoting fitness. It's a 37-second clip, and you can see the Chief Minister quite engrossed in his routine.
4, 5.
And finally, Onam was celebrated across Kerala, and the grand celebration of the second harvest with elaborate feasts, etc. Festivities took place in the second year of the pandemic.
Every year we celebrate Onam with our relatives and friends, but due to COVID we couldn't invite any of them. We really miss them.
Nowadays, due to COVID, celebrations are not possible. But we are celebrating Onam in a very simple way by obeying government regulations. Happy Onam.